Well, it's time to do a little cleaning up. I'm trying to do just a little bit every time we have a nice February weekend day when I can, so that when things really start to pop up, and you can see some things have already started because our winter's been a little up and down here in central Ohio where I live, zone 6. So I'm just coming out and doing a little bit at a time, and I just bought a pair of Felco F2 pruners. I decided I wanted to see what the hullabaloo was about. Lots of people really rave about these. I've had other pruners off and on and have liked various things about them, but I thought I would give these a try. I've already used them on one of my coreopsis plants that I grew last year. These were all grown with the winter sowing method last year, and they put on a ton of growth last year. Lots and lots of foliage. None of them bloomed, so I'm hoping that maybe this year they'll put on quite a nice show. Coreopsis can be a really great addition to your flower beds. These have a yellow coloring to them. I don't think they're the variegated ones. We'll find out this year, hopefully. But I thought this would be a nice pop of color with the yellow that'll have a slightly different texture to it than the daylilies that I have over here that I've had for a couple of years. You can see they're starting to come up a little bit as well. And a couple of them look pretty rough because I divided some late in the summer last year, but they look like they're doing okay, even though I planted them a little high and was in a hurry. I need to add some dirt around there. But anyways, so what I'm doing is just coming out here and taking my pruners, getting down to an inch or two above the soil. Let me get that angle right, sorry. An inch or two above the soil, and just trimming, not taking it all the way to the ground, because as you can see, it's nice and light, a nice color shade of green here already. And these stayed, this is from last year's growth. So these stayed, I need to do some research and see if it's just we had a really mild winter or they're semi-evergreen. But anyway, so I'm just coming in with the pruners, and I will say these chop really nice. They do a good job. I don't know if that's just because they're new and nice and sharp, or because they're Felcos. So I'm going to keep using them and give them a real try out today. So I'm going to just keep chopping away at these, and then I'll clean it up. I'll show you what this looks like when I'm done, and then I'm going to go over and cut off the old blooms from some limelight hydrangeas. See you soon. All right, I've got everything trimmed up. It only took me like a minute or two. The Felcos worked great, so I thought I would also show you a couple of my other favorite tools to use when cleaning up. And these are both from Fiskars. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So one of them is a, I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but it's a very lightweight, not very wide plastic rake. And let me see if it's got a name on it. It's got a full lifetime warranty. I really like that. I've used this for, a few years now, and it's held up great. And it is just awesome for cleaning up flower beds. It just, pulls together the bitsy things. It doesn't get too much of your mulch, and you can use it right kind of over and around your plants, and it shouldn't damage them too much if you're not being super aggressive. And the other is this kangaroo pop-up bag. I have the kind with the hard shell bottom because, to be honest, once I start getting stuff in there, I tend to drag it off the ground with the handle. And one of my little tips is if you lay it down on the ground, you can use it almost like you would a dustpan and a broom. You can just sweep the stuff near the opening and scooch it right in there. Saves you a lot of bending over. And then just set it back up. And sometimes if I'm really feeling fancy, I'll even use the rake. And there I go. Very little to bend over and pick up. All right, on to the hydrangeas. All right, here we are on the side of my house where I've got a row of limelight hydrangeas. You can see they got rather large, and at times they were a little flopsy. Now, I did the appropriate pruning for these last early spring. where you take them down by about 1/3, get rid of anything spindly. And I'm going to do that again when they are already starting to show some buds, but I want to wait and see a little bit longer to really go in there. But I'm going to give them what I'm going to call hopefully a rejuvenating, a little bit stronger pruning this year. Ultimately, you can see I got super frustrated with this one last summer, and I kind of chopped it down because it was so flopsy and it was flopping over and laying on top of the AC unit. So I thought, I'm just going to try something, and I went in kind of later in the summer and I just started whacking. So I hope I didn't damage it. I'm looking to see if we've got any. There are some what looks like some buds getting ready to form, so we'll see how this guy looks. Oh, there's some. Let's see, there you go. So you can see those little nubbins right there where my thumb is. Those are buds starting to get ready to form, and looks like there's a whole bunch more along these thicker branches. So this guy I'm not going to do much to this year, other than to come in and things that are really kind of flimsy like this, I'm going to take out. Anything that's crisscrossing, I'll take out just to try to give room for everything to breathe, because the goal is, I think, to keep them from flopping. When it rains is when they tend to flop, because as you can see, they stand up when they're not weighted down. The blooms are pretty big and they get heavy when it rains, but I think what I'm going to do is give everything a prune down to about this level this year, early spring. I don't know that I'll get to that level with it today. And then once they start putting on some growth, I'm going to come back in before they start really getting ready to bloom and selectively bring it down again, and see if that helps keep things from flopping too much. I've read there are some people that do that, so I need to do some more research to see when the time would be to do that kind of second prune, and see if that helps. All right, she's all done. I did take off quite a bit. So for perspective, this is kind of what she looked like. Now this is what she looks like. Basically, what I decided to do was this one will be kind of an experiment. The other ones, I think I'll just take off the really skinny branches and some blooms, and I don't know, or I may just leave them alone for now. Until the buds are more prominent. But I basically took it down in about probably closer to 1/2 than 1/3, and any branches that were smaller than this, and this is one that I may still come back, the ones that are this size, when the buds have started to be more prominently popping out, I may still take this one off, because I think once it gets a couple of shoots off of there with some blooms, that's gonna be a little flopsy. My goal being that I want only really strong branches left for it to be putting energy into growing new branches that would have then the flowers on them. So hopefully having a really strong structure as its base will help it. The other thing I did was I took out some bigger branches. You can see a couple spots here and here. Those were pretty big, and I cut those off because they were crossing other branches and going kind of in towards the center. So those came off just to overall make this inside part here have better airflow and make it a healthier base for the shrub. So we'll call this one the experiment, see how things go over the next few weeks as things start waking up more. And thanks for joining me here today for some winter chores, late winter, early spring chores in Aunt Susan's garden.